Welcome to my first ever podcast. We live in a world which is fast paced and knowledge is everything. Knowledge is power. And as said by Benjamin Franklin, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. And indeed it is. And for that, we have our guest, Rajdeep, with us. And we are going to learn from his knowledge, his experiences, how he has moved from being a software engineer to being the AVP of one of the renowned organization of our country, Airtel, leading engineering team. So welcome Rajdeep to my first ever podcast.
Thank you, Jyoti, very much. Thanks for having me here on the podcast. Really excited to be a part of this Toastmasters series of when we do this very interesting project. I have done this last year and I was super excited about it. So looking forward to the connect today and let's see kind of what we can talk about to the audience on what they can learn.
Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule and helping us with this podcast. So Rajdeep, first question first. I want to understand, your journey. I want to understand if you could take us through your journey where you started off as a software engineer and now you are working as AVP, leading such a big number of team. So how has it been from the day you started till now?
So I think see any journey, right? Just like we do in Toastmasters, when we start small, and as it grows, it starts getting into something which you sometimes don't imagine that it will grow up to that scale. And I think that's been the journey with me as well. I started my career as a first, I think designation was system engineer. This was with Infosys way back. It was 2009-10 is when I started. I was very happy that I got a campus placement into Infosys, and one of my dream jobs that I wanted to do. And Infosys has a brilliant campus. You would know of it.
Yeah.
So this is where I think it started with. Now, as it has evolved into a bigger role, bigger teams, I am thoroughly enjoying every single moment of my career that I spend my time in. And I have realized over time that that is what is important. If you are not enjoying the time that you are given to office, not only the career growth probably stalls, but also your growth as a professional or as a personal individual stalls. So I think that's kind of how the journey has been amazing, interesting. There have been a lot of ups and downs, and probably if the questions are like that, we will talk about it in the coming questions. But then, yes, it's been a really insightful journey, and good that you spoke about it. I just realized that almost 15 years has just passed by.
Oh wow!
And sometimes it happens that times flies by, and so has happened in this particular case.
Oh, lovely. I didn't know that you have been able to achieve such a big designation in like 15 years only. So, for how long you have been into this current role, exactly?
So the current role of AVP that I am, I've been like in this role for the last 3 years.
Okay.
Prior to this, I was DGM, that's Deputy General Manager. Then I kind of moved into an AVP role. But overall, if you see, and this is one of my feelings, right? And this is what I say sometimes in Toastmasters as well, that getting a designation sometimes is not important. What you drive the impact is important, because a lot of organizations you will find that people are a vice president, right? And they're vice president at the age of, at a tenure of 8 to 10 years. So the tenure doesn't matter. Okay. What matters is, how much or tenure of the designation rather doesn't matter, is what I feel. What matters is what you bring to the table. So if you are growing horizontally and vertically, that's what I feel is very important, because that's where the real growth of you as a person lies.
Oh wow! So this role, you have come into the leadership. So was that a conscious decision that you took at one point of time, or did it happen organically? So, there are few people I know that they're very comfortable in their personal role that they're doing, being individual contributor, and they don't actually want to go and take the pain of leadership.
Yeah.
So, was there case with you, or how have you decided that you want to come into this leadership role? Was it organic, or was it like something that you have always dreamt of doing?
I have a interesting answer to this. and this is not bookish by the way, this is a real thing that I always feel, that sometimes it happens in life that when you want to achieve something, and when you put a number to it, to say that I want to lead a 100-member team, and I want to lead a say 20-member team, or any number that you have in mind, and you want to say that I want to do with these many number of peoples. This, I feel personally, is something that you are adding an unnecessary pressure onto yourself, because it's not important of how many people you lead. It is important, as I said, that of what impact you create. Now, this is always organic. I feel in any organization or industry, people don't give you people to manage, to say that okay, let's manage a 50 people team because you have the caliber. It always happens organically, and at least with me, it has happened organically, to say that I was an individual contributor. I was very happy with what I was doing.
Yeah.
Then when I moved into a role wherein I had to lead 2 people, there was a gradual transition, because you sometimes love what you're doing, and now when you have to teach either 2 people or work with them in unison, there's a bit of friction that you feel, that your individuality is getting taken away, because you could have done either better than them, is what you feel. And the other thing that you feel is no, maybe like they are better than you, and I think both the sides of the story are slightly different. But with me, what has happened is it's been purely organic growth.
Okay.
It's what, when I have done stuff, my managers or my manager's manager, they have seen certain potential in me, and I think same has happened in Toastmasters as well. When we kind of scale our levels, journeys, etc., people see something in you, and that's kind of how you get a particular position, and that's probably why people voted for what I kind of became now in Toastmasters. It was a democratic decision.
Right.
But so I feel it's been organic. It has helped me personally not to have this aspiration of that I lead so many people. That's never been the aspiration. It's about what you can drive, and generally if you can drive say a huge amount of work with 2 people,
Yeah.
that works. If you can drive a huge amount of work with 100 people, that also works. So people is not the metric here.
Right.
The growth is always about what you can bring to the table, what impact you can create, how big you can make an organization, and this is ideally in terms of revenue and not in terms of people. Or any organization would want that the revenue is highest and the people are lowest.
Yeah,
So
sure.
that's kind of how I feel it is.
And for those who do not know, so he was voted as a president for this session. So he was referring to that. So he has so much of charisma and so much of potential that people see in him, that he actually nominated himself for the very first time, and he has he's the president for this session for Noida Plus Toastmasters. So this was something that he was referring to.
I think it's not really the charisma, it's the thing that I bring to the table. That's what I want to say.
Same thing.
But yeah.
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 So Rasdeep, I just wanted to understand, how did you feel when you got into leadership as your role, the transition happened, right? And you were doing something for yourself on your table, and now you got into leadership. So what kind of feeling you had? You were like excited about it? Were you in that panic mode as to how would I handle it? What was going on in your head, if you could tell us about that?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing, right? See, the moment you start managing even 2 people,
Right.
and then you build on to say I would manage 10 people, etc. It's always a challenging role. So when I got this opportunity to lead a team, one good thing that I would say that I keep in my mind, right, if not anywhere else, is that I try to kind of convince myself that it's super exciting or whatever I'm gonna do. I think that's the one thing that I found, that if I don't do this, then maybe I'll be slightly off balance to say whether the role is exciting enough or not, and maybe I'll get bogged down with too much of formality of what the role brings in. Thankfully, hasn't happened with me till date, that whenever an opportunity comes, I'm super excited about it. I don't think about the nitty-gritties of saying that, oh, I have to now manage 100 people, or 50 people, 30 people, 20 people. I think that number never bogs me down, because I'm very excited about what I can do now. It is always challenging. So the reality is that when you get a 2-member team, as I was mentioning earlier, it happens that say sometimes in teams, and that is what a switch from a individual contributor to a leadership happens. That an individual contributor position is always like, I can do this, I can do that, and you can do a lot of stuff yourself. When you move into leadership, the shift happens that now you have a team.
Right.
Ideally, the team has to do that particular work, and you have to now multiply that work.
Right.
And the first challenge that I would say I faced was, sometimes it happens that you get people who are smarter than you.
True.
So you have that initial resistance to say that, oh, now somebody else is gonna take my table. What would happen? Because
Right.
obviously he will project to the management. The other challenge that happens is you find people that you say that, oh, I was able to do this in one day. Why is the team taking 10 days?
Right.
Now you have to deal with both sort of folks. Actually, you bring them to the table and then understand what is the right way forward. That is, I feel, where the leadership juncture lies, and that is where your true leadership comes out. Good thing with me has been that I've been able to manage people emotions well, and hence I have never fallen into both the traps. That, oh, if somebody is doing better than you, it is always good that you project him forward.
Right.
Because that's what gonna take you forward. And if somebody is not doing good, it is always, I feel, better to not tell everybody that they are doing bad. It is about you, that how you can bring them to the scale to say that, see, this work can be done in one day, and this is how I was able to do it. What's taking so much long? And probably they will, maybe they are doing a lot of testing, say a lot of other work, which maybe you were missing, and you were just doing it flat in one day. And that's kind of a mutual understanding that then builds up to say what is the right way you can get with quality, optimum work, and then obviously optimum delivery. So it's a mix between both. Initial life period, I think, for everyone is very difficult, because it's difficult to handle people when you have a bigger team.
Right.
So people alignment, I think, is very important. But as you grow up, you understand in the leadership role that it's always about finding a strategy, finding the best strategy, and then having the ability to impart that vision to the team. If you can do that, then technically team, people, everything aligns well. And I think that's where the real merit is of a leader, to that whether he can not only work individually, if needed, yes, work as well, but then can he drive 10x output from 10 people rather than just 1x output from an individual contributor.
Right. Well said. Well said. So, Rajdeep, what would be top 2-3 qualities that you would say that a person should possess to handle all kind of conflicts that comes up in a team, or manage a group of say, let's say, more than 10 people? So what do you see, what are those top 2-3 qualities that a person should have? It could be anything. I mean, soft skills. It could be something. Maybe that person should be technically strong also, because sometimes you feel that the other person is doing, as you mentioned, the way he knows way much. I mean, he's way much ahead of you. So, what do you think? I mean, would be the top 2-3 quality, so that you strike a balance between managing a group of people, I would say.
I think this is the first one for any leadership attribute, if I would say, right? The best quality that, and this is in fact in any person, be it at an individual contributor level or in leadership level, is how good you are behaviorally.
Right.
Having said and done, in the era of AI, everything will come up. Skill is gonna something that will keep on changing. You have to kind of change your tech stack. But if you are behaviorally sound, then I think that's the most important skill in the world. If you can handle people with, so one is behavior. Behavior should always be immaculate. You should always be able to talk to people well. And then the second thing that I would say is emotions, right? If you can tap into your emotions right, and if you can learn how to tap into people's emotions right, that's what drives majority of the teams. So, and I can give you examples as we move to next questions. But then behavior is one. Handling emotions of self and for people is very important. Because if you're giving a work to your team and you feel that they're emotionally charged and you're giving a work to them, then maybe it's not the right time to give a work. So knowing the emotions and handling your emotions and their emotions, I think that's very, very important. And third one I would say is skill, right? Nothing beats, you can't be a leader if you don't know what you have to do.
Sure.
So the skill is the, and this is not in any specific order, but then you have to know your trade. You have to know what you're supposed to do, and then you have to learn it to the best. And I think great leaders keep on continuously learning things. I've seen people like CTOs, CIOs, they spend almost like an hour every day just to kind of refresh their skills, refresh their knowledge set. This is very important, right? Now a CIO might think that I've known it all, I have to drive a team, the team is actually getting it done.
Right.
But I feel because of the way they project it, because they're learning themselves, that's the very right thing, that if you're not right on your skills as a leader or as an individual contributor, you will never go any place. So emotions, behaviors, and skills is what I feel is very important. How you
Oh.
go to drive.
Good to know that. We'll keep that in mind for sure, and it will definitely help a lot of audience who is watching this podcast as to what all they need to keep in check if they want to transition from any technical role and want to move ahead in the leadership role. Very well spoken points. And Razik, I just also want to understand this kind of work brings a lot of pressure. I'm sure. So when you are individual contributor or working the technical side of it, you are actually doing along with the team or maybe on your own. So it so happens that you are able to dilute that tension or pressure out of you, right? But I just want to understand what kind of pressure do you deal with when you are in leadership role, and how do you combat that situation? How do you come out of the situation? So any tips and tricks on that?
So I think, at the hindsight, right, leadership always looks easy because people think that you got a team.
Yeah.
The team is actually doing the work.
Right.
The leader is just showing the vision. So technically, everything should kind of go in harmony, just like that. The reality, what I have experienced and I have felt is it is enjoyable to a point if you can make it enjoyable. So that's very important. Pressure is an inevitable part of any job, right? So be it a job, like even in Toastmasters, you would have seen that the club is a different domain altogether, and the executive committee is a different domain altogether, because you handle a lot of pressure and stuff there. So I feel yes, even in any leadership, and this is a leadership style that we do in election, an executive committee, right? That's a leadership role. Even in corporates, I feel there is a leadership role there, and obviously there is a lot of pressure, and pressure comes in from the fact that one, you manage different people. Now, different people would have different opinions. People would have different way of working, and you have to align all of them to kind of drive a common objective. All of that, I think, and when people don't align, what happens is stress builds up, and that pressure starts translating to deliveries. Obviously, work deliveries, and it could be Toastmasters deliveries as well. so when this translates there, what happens is the end objective is not met, and hence there could be pressure of people management. There could be pressure of project deliverables. There could be pressure of meeting certain KPIs and KRAs, like in Toastmasters meeting the DCP goals, right?
Sure.
How do you meet them, right? And there is the pressure of keeping everything in budget in Toastmasters, right? How do you meet that so that the club keeps on running, the budgets are not run out, and then you are not at the end of the day running for how do you manage the next meeting, because there is a venue charge to be paid, etc., etc. So I think all of this is about how do you manage stuff. That's one pressure. And the third thing that comes up is every day somebody will throw something new at you. That's what true leadership is. That how do you then react to situations? Because however better you will plan, you will find a time wherein people will bring up something new, that this happened now what? And this ideally I've seen would come at the 11th hour. When things are about to be executed, you will find something there, and that's what builds up additional pressure. So I spoke about a lot of pressure there. That's there. The way to kind of answer your question of how do you keep yourself, how do you manage this, is always about knowing the fact that you've been given this responsibility because somebody would have seen in you that you can manage it.
Sure.
So one, having faith in yourself that yes, you can drive it, right? I think this is what I feel is the first step to tackle that situation. And second one is always being calm sometimes in situations. See, because if there is a situation ideally which can't be managed, then very high chances that nobody else is able to manage it, and hence it has come to you. And if you start panicking out of it, because others were not able to do it, you won't be able to do it either, and you start panicking out of it, then nothing good is going to come out. And even if it comes out in a certain fashion, you would not be comfortable yourself, because you'll feel like, oh, it may have just happened like that, but I'm not very sure whether I handled it right or not. So it's very important to be calm, be patient, and with a patient and a calm mind, you can actually think of solutions better.
Right.
So again, I like in Toastmasters, I'll summarize this, right? So one is being calm is very important. Knowing the apt way of handling pressure and not just directing it somewhere here and there is sometimes works. And the other thing that I found how to handle this leadership pressure is about always being creative. If you're too bogged down with what you're doing, you will not have time for anything. So it's always important that you always try and be creative, have some free mind at your hand, so that you can think of things in a wider lens. And that's how a leader grows, I feel. If he's always occupied into doing some work, driving team, just on the table sorting out stuff, he may not be able to find out what's happening outside, and then having a creative bent of mind to solve it. So that's what I feel. It's important to stay slightly upbeat. If not childlike, if that's not the right word, then staying slightly upbeat, thinking that you can solve the problem, having that faith in yourself, being calm, and then finding a creative way of solving it. I think that kind of works in majority of the situations.
Right. But Rasi, how much prepared we are, right? We read a lot, we listen to a lot of leaders, but there must be few of the challenges that you might have had faced in your life, right? In terms of leadership style only. So I just want to understand what is that one unexpected challenge that you encountered and you came out with flying colors as well. So if you could tell us something about that, which was really unexpected, that you thought that, this is something I have not read about it, not heard about it. It's something which is like very new. So how am I going to deal with it? Is there some stories, anecdote that you can share?
So, good that you kind of brought this impromptu question. I'll do this impromptu table topics then. So the way, so one example that I can give of, like I was telling about everything. Sometimes things come in the 11th hour.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in one of the organizations where I was given a leadership role, and what happened is, I was handling a team, but then I was given a different team. That now you manage them as well.
Right.
And that other team I felt initially was aligned to their earlier manager a lot.
Right.
And I didn't have the skill set of what those guys were doing. So this I felt was the immediate challenge that I had, because that team I felt was the moment their managership happens, and sometimes you're so aligned with the manager that you don't like a manager change. Right. And I found that particular team to have a lot of resistance against me to say that why would we work for him. And I tried to kind of kill that particular aura, to say that this is not the right aura to have, because the organization has a different goal, and there's a reason why this all would have happened. So I found that as the most challenging one, to say that how do you align that particular team. The way I handled it was more of it was a fun story, because everybody in that team was like, why would you work for this? And nobody was saying it upright. And everybody was saying it behind the scenes. And I realized that the quality of delivery was dropping. And some people were also questioning that he doesn't know this skill set. So why is he a manager? Because a manager technically has to know whatever the team is doing.
Right.
And I found it a bit of, I had all the answers in fact to their queries, because obviously these were not asked to me directly. These were grapevine. I had all answers to all these queries, and I knew how I can handle them well. And I deployed those. So I deployed by those missiles to say that, the first one was, I brought everyone on the same page to say that, guys, you know it better than me, I don't know it at all.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of confronted that. Yes, I don't know your skill set, but you are the guys who have been driving it earlier. So why don't you drive it now? A manager change is not like, a manager wanted that team to come in. It's an organization decision. So it would obviously kind of, organization is aligning it. And you are the ones who are actually doing it, and why don't you project it to the leadership as well? I am nobody to kind of take away your limelight. You start projecting it. And I think, so this was one thing that I cleared with the team, to say that, it's not like you tell me and I'll tell others. I said that let's kind of, why don't you tell whoever the business stakeholders are or the leadership is? That I think killed the first doubt probably in them, that I'm not here to hog their limelight. And then there were still certain elements who were very skeptical to say that we will do it in a different fashion. The thing that has to be done in 2 days will be done in 10 days, because he doesn't know. So over a period in time, I made them realize that this is not rocket science. I can learn it, and if I'm not able to learn it, I will find somebody else who is able to do it at a better speed than you.
Oh.
Why do you let that happen?
Okay.
And when this was very clearly confronted with them, to say that the other guys are able to do it in 2 days, Obviously, I don't know the skill set, so I won't do it the next time. But if they come into the team, they will do it in 2 days, right? So it's your loss. It's probably their win, but it's your loss as well. And I think then that those guys got aligned. And then a lot of things, right? And when you start building camaraderie with people, people understand your true intent, and your true intent ideally should be always to see what's the purpose that you are there for. In an organization, you are there to drive organization goals, not your personal goals, or not your professional goals either. If you are driving the organizational goal, actually everybody aligns to that. You have to just keep on telling them that this is the organizational goal, and people actually align to that. So it's more about how do you tell them, how do you build that comfort, and that's kind of how I tackled that way.
Right.
That difficult time, what I would say I was given. And I think brownie points to my manager as well, because I used to very openly discuss with her to say that this is the challenge, these are the people who are not aligning, and this is what I'm doing. And she always used to support that you are doing it right. Just keep on doing it this way. If it is getting escalated to me, I will see it. And I think that's the comfort that she placed in me, that you're doing it right, you keep on doing it, and I think that's how I was able to tackle it.
So idea is to basically phase 1, make them comfortable, and phase 2, keep your point forward, graciously, that I'm here as a manager, so don't always step over me. So these are, I think, the two things.
Yeah, and I think so. It's always about giving them a path to say that there is nothing like stepping over. So giving them the comfort that there is a job to be done, and there is a hierarchy. You don't have to follow the hierarchy. When you break that thing to the team, you don't have to follow the hierarchy. Go tell whoever you want to. They will actually end up telling the business stakeholders itself, right? It's not like they're gonna tell anybody else. So if the business is happy with your team, ideally your job is much easier. So you are not there, and this is what I find is sometimes very tricky, because every manager, right, or every individual feels this fear of saying that, okay, what's my take in this? If you are keeping the organization take forward, all the top leaders would actually understand that who is actually bringing team together, and a person who actually does me all the time sometimes is not the right guy. We have seen certain examples as well. So me is not the right guy who kind of brings it forward. It is always about who can bring people together. There is obviously a leader kind of is a clause sometimes as well, that that what if people question that you just built a team but you haven't done it yourself. I think that's a podcast for some other day of how you should handle that.
True, very true. And in all the answers that you have given me, I feel that communication skills plays a very, very important role. How do you manage people, and conflict management also, I think. So how do you see these 2 points, helping you in your course while managing the team, the communication skills and your managing the conflict management? How has it helped you?
Yeah, I think communication is paramount. I feel a good leader has to be a good communicator.
Right.
And probably that is why we have joined Toastmasters, to be good communicators and good leaders. I think my sole agenda of joining Toastmasters and paying the fees here was that I can be a good communicator. How I have grown up, over time is if I'm able to convince and put my point forward and put it in a fashion that 2 people are interested to listen and hear. That's where I find the ideal meet is, and that's what we've been doing. Right? So communication, I feel, for a leader is very, very important. If he can't put his word in a proper fashion, then nothing is gonna matter, right? And communication is not only about what you speak; it's about how you understand the other guy and then revert as well. So that's what communication is for us. And there is a chapter in Toastmasters about communication style. So I feel this communication style actually helps to bind people together, and this bind could be your peers, could be your directs, could be your managers and supervisors as well. So I think communication is paramount. Conflict management, it's all, in my view, it's all about knowing both the parties first. Not having a point in view of what one guy is saying and then having a bias against anybody. So if you know the both parties story, you would obviously have a thought process by which you will be able to either tweak both of them or put across your point forward and then drive it from there. So I think that is very important in conflict management. And I feel there are some conflicts which you should leave on the table, right? This is maybe very, very wrong, but then there are some conflicts which are not to be picked up, and I find that people would, and this is not an organization. In fact, this is I've seen in Toastmasters as well, right? People will be finding conflicts in items which are not supposed to be, either a club matter or an EC matter or a matter which is concerning anybody, and people will still be poking holes into each other, and then maybe trying to find your time out there. It is very good to leave the time there to say that this is not something that bothers me, bothers the other person, bothers the third person. Why are we doing conflict management there? So there is an art of knowing which conflict is not to be picked up at all.
Choosing your battle
Choosing your battle
wisely.
absolutely. Yeah, that's what we keep on saying.
Yeah. So, Rajdeep, last few questions, and thank you for answering so many questions with. It's more of a extempore for you, I feel. So what is that one leadership lesson that you have learned the hard way? Is there anything that you were kind of leaving it aside, maybe that is not so important at the point of your time, but then later on that you realize that it is of paramount importance and you can't actually miss that. So is there anything in terms of leadership that you feel that this is something that I can't miss, and you have learned the hard way, maybe through your mistakes? So is there any thought on that?
Yeah, I think in corporate actually you end up the moment you are given a role, you actually scale up very fast for that, because that's a human tendency that you can learn fast. You can given an opportunity for doing X, you can actually do X plus X and then try and showcase that. That's the way I feel the corporates are actually structured, because you see a lot of people out there who are doing much more than you, and that is what inspires you to do that great stuff, right? So corporates, I feel the leadership thing, right, doesn't come ingrained, but then you actually learn looking at the environment you are in. So environment is very important, I feel. So corporates teach you leadership like that. What I will, to answer your question, what I will try to talk about is there are certain leadership styles that you pick for yourself.
Right.
Yourself, I feel the point was on what is that you have learned the hard way.
Right.
I feel in leadership every day is sort of a challenge. Why it is a challenge is if you are not breaking your shackles every single day and asking you what next, then you are constrained into a mindset or a leadership style which only serves a particular audience or a particular number or a particular revenue digit. So what I've always felt is that what's challenging, what next, what should I do more, is the biggest battle that I personally feel and face. That if I'm not questioning myself enough, say every month, right, if not every day, maybe every day is too overwhelming, then I feel I may not be doing justice to how I want to do.
Right.
And there is a stagnancy that comes into everybody's career, that if they're not growing fast, and that is what something that shouldn't happen. So the ideal way I would tackle this question is to say, how am I challenging myself today, right? Like I see you doing it, right? You do those 10,000 step, and this trade toast fit group. So you challenge people to say that why not 10,000 step? Why not 11,000 step? Why can't we run 5 kilometers in the marathon? I think that's the mindset that everybody should have. Leader, individual contributor, anybody. And if they can challenge themselves every single day, what new am I gonna do today, and what interesting I can push my limits for today. That is what I think takes probably 90% of what you have to do in life.
So what's next for you then?
So I think what next is, I'll let life unfold in the fashion that it has to.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to, and as I said, right, you can't have a number or a designation in mind.
Right.
It is always about what you find happiness into. So I keep on kind of exploring opportunities in Toastmasters, in corporate life and beyond, where I can do better. I can make even a slightest of an impact or a dent. And if I'm able to do that, like work strong. So that's next. I think that's not getting bogged down with that I should do this and this. That's not having a bigger wish list. Obviously, goals and dreams is something that you should definitely chase, and I'll keep on chasing them.
Very good answer. I thought that you will it would be a little tricky, but you answered it very well, and this is the result of The table topics.
The table topics, absolutely.
So Rajdeep, one last question for our audience. That what is that one advice that you would want to give to somebody who is aspiring to get into a leadership role? That person might be have started a career. So any advice that the person should keep in mind so that maybe 7 years down the line, 10 years down the line, if you want to have this transition, what he should keep in his mind? One advice.
Yeah, I think, see, it's very interesting because when people are individual contributors, they want to go into a leadership role.
Right.
The moment they go into a leadership role, after a few years, they say that, I should have been an individual contributor because my skills are now depleting. So, tricky question. I think the answer lies in the fact that for anybody, whatever, for a guy who wants to be into leadership, or for a leader who wants to kind of still continue doing the individual contributor role, the idea is very simple. Is what I feel is one: are you upping your skill set every single day? Are you actually working on your skills? Be it health, right? Be it kind of something like I want to be in peak of my health, right? I want to be in peak of technology, of where it is moving. I want to be peak in terms of learning a new language. If you can keep on doing such things over and over and over enough, you will be content and happy with yourself. And when you do all of this, other things actually fall in place. So, say for example, if somebody is doing great as an individual contributor, is always meeting, he's the one rater, the best rater in the organization. Why would the organization not think that he can actually do and then handle a team? Let me give him 2-3 folks, and then he can teach them as well and handle it. Right? Everybody would think, because that's how the growth happens. This, I feel, has to be purely organic. It can't be taught. The thing that people can keep in mind is being aware of what's happening nearby and learning those traits of what a good leader is. A good leader is somebody who listens the more and then is able to drive team and cohesion. That's a good leader, right?
Yeah.
So are you that? Can you become that? How can you become that? Is by showing empathy, being very right on certain agendas, having a point in view, and then the ability to drive that point in view across and convince people. That's what a leader is. So can an individual continue to learn this? It's not like when the role will come and then I'll learn it.
Right.
It's can I learn it in advance? Can I be very wary of what it takes to learn that? That's what important. And same for a leader who wants to be continuing to individual contributor role. It's about if you are upping your skill set, then you would actually know that skill at the back of your hand. And if you know that, then that gives you a lot of comfort to say that, okay, even if my team is off, say a particular day, I don't have to call them up and then tell them, you please come and then do this, there is an urgency. You can get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
And you can do it, and you have the comfort and confidence in yourself that yes, even if my teammate is not there, if my director is not there, I don't have to bother him for a small thing. I can open up the code, I can do it myself, and I can deploy it properly, right? With the proper channel, right? Obviously with the proper process, and then be happy about it, and not be cribbing about it that he was not there, I did it. No, there's no sense of pride. There is a sense of responsibility that you carry. So I think if a person is able to do both and keep themselves grounded, I think you can achieve anything. Right? Like people have been able to, you have been able to achieve a lot in Toastmasters in a short period of time, right? That goes on to show that you have that intent, capacity, and spirit to showcase it, and that's what should be.
Thank you so much for saying that. I mean, there's a lot of things to learn from you, and I look forward to that learning. And today you have taught us the nitty-gritty of leadership, what one should have, what quality one should have, what are the challenges that one face. And I am hopeful, I'm 100% sure that this would be helpful to a lot of people, not just in Toastmaster, but whosoever would be watching this podcast. And thank you so much, Rajdeep, for coming onto our podcast and enlightening us with all the knowledge that you have shared, all the experiences that you have shared. Looking forward to many more podcasts with you, and the time was amazing, and there was so much of learning from this podcast today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jyoti. It's been a brilliant experience today. I think glad that we were able to kind of do this session and talk about it. Truly love the energy that you bring to the table, and best of luck for whatever you do in Toastmasters and in your professional life. I think hopefully this was useful. and this was helpful. And looking forward to more and more such sessions. Such encouraging sessions, I would rather say.
Thank you so much. And let's now wrap up this podcast. And I'll see you in my second episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.